2002, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A quiet neighborhood, an innocent man. A system that failed him. He had done nothing wrong. He had no record, no weapon, no motive, just the wrong face in the wrong place. He screamed he was innocent. Nobody listened. Nobody cared. The handcuffs went on anyway. 7 years, behind bars, for a crime he never committed. The real criminal walked free the entire time. This is Marcus's story. His name was Marcus, 28 years old, living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A quiet man, a hardworking man. He worked 2 jobs, a morning shift at a warehouse and evening shifts at a gas station nearby. Not because he wanted to, because he had to. His mother was sick, bills were piling up, and Marcus was the only one there to handle it. He had no criminal record, not even a parking ticket. He had never been in trouble with the law, not once, not ever. He went to work, he came home, he took care of his mother. That was his life. Simple, honest, quiet. And he was proud of it. He had plans, small ones, but real ones. Save enough money to move his mother into a better apartment, maybe take some college classes in the new year, build something, slowly, carefully. He had no idea that everything was about to be taken from him. On the night of October 14th, 2002, a robbery occurred, 2 streets away from Marcus's home. A convenience store was held up at gunpoint. The cashier was shaken but unharmed. The robber fled on foot into the neighborhood. Police arrived within minutes. They canvassed the area, knocked on doors, asked questions. A witness came forward. She described the suspect as a black man, late 20s, medium height, dark jacket. That description fit thousands of men in Baton Rouge. It fit Marcus perfectly. Police pulled his photo from a database, showed it to the witness. She said she thought it was him. Not that it was him, that she thought it was him. That was enough. Officers arrived at Marcus's door at 11:47 p.m. He had just gotten home from his evening shift. He was still in his work clothes. He answered the door confused, tired, completely caught off guard. Within minutes, he was in handcuffs. He kept saying the same thing over and over. "I just got home from work. I didn't do anything. Please, I just got home from work." Nobody listened. His mother watched from the doorway, crying, calling his name. The police car door slammed shut, and Marcus's life, as he knew it, was over. At the station, Marcus was questioned for 6 hours straight. No lawyer present, no break, no food, no water. He told them the same thing every single time. He had been at work. His supervisor could confirm it. He had clocked out at 11:15 p.m. The robbery happened at 10:45 p.m. He had receipts. He had witnesses. He had proof. But the detective across the table had already made up his mind. The witness had identified Marcus from a photo lineup. That was all they needed. Marcus was charged with armed robbery. Bail was set at $50,000. His mother had nothing. He had nothing. He sat in that cell and waited. The court appointed him a public defender, a young lawyer, overworked, underpaid, managing over 80 cases at the same time. They met twice before the trial. Twice. The first meeting lasted 20 minutes. The second lasted less. Marcus tried to explain everything. His work alibi, his timesheet, his supervisor's name. The lawyer nodded, took notes, said he would look into it. He never did. The trial lasted 4 days. The prosecution presented the witness testimony. They presented Marcus's photo lineup identification. They presented nothing else. Because there was nothing else. No weapon was ever found. No fingerprints, no DNA. No physical evidence connecting Marcus to the scene. Just a witness who said she thought it was him. The defense presented Marcus's work alibi. His supervisor testified that Marcus had clocked out at 11:15 p.m. The robbery happened at 10:45 p.m., 30 minutes, 2 streets away. It was physically possible, but barely. The prosecution argued he could have run from the scene. The defense argued he had no motive, no weapon, and no record. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. They came back with a verdict: guilty. Marcus stood in that courtroom and heard that word. And something inside him broke. Not in anger, not in rage, in disbelief. Pure, devastating, silent disbelief. He was sentenced to 15 years in Louisiana State Penitentiary. His mother collapsed in the courtroom gallery. She had to be helped out by two strangers sitting nearby. Marcus was taken away in handcuffs. He did not look back. He couldn't. Prison was everything Marcus feared and more. Louisiana State Penitentiary, known as Angola, was one of the harshest prisons in America. Marcus was young, he was innocent, and he was terrified, but he refused to fall apart. He held on to one thing, the truth. He knew what he had done that night. He knew where he had been. And he was determined to prove it. He started writing letters from his very first week inside. To lawyers, to civil rights organizations, to newspapers, to anyone who would listen. Most letters went unanswered. Some came back marked return to sender. A few received polite responses saying they couldn't help. But Marcus kept writing, every single week, for years, because what else could he do? Outside those walls, his mother waited. She wrote to him every week without fail. She told him about the neighborhood, about the weather, about small things, anything to make him feel connected to the world he had been taken from. She never missed a visiting day, even when her health made the journey difficult. Even when she could barely afford the bus fare, she was always there, sitting across from her son, holding his hands through the glass, telling him she believed him, telling him to hold on. Years passed. 1, then 2, then 3. Marcus watched men come and go from that prison, some guilty, some, he suspected, not. He kept his head down, stayed out of trouble, worked in the prison library, read everything he could find. He educated himself in ways he never had the chance to before. Law books, history, science, literature. Not because he had given up, but because he refused to waste even one more day. In 2006, 4 years into his sentence, a letter finally got a response. A small Innocence Project organization based in New Orleans had received his case file. A young lawyer named Patricia had been assigned to review it. She almost passed on it. Her caseload was already overwhelming, but something about Marcus's letter stopped her. The detail, the consistency, the quiet desperation of a man telling the truth. She requested the original case files, and what she found disturbed her deeply. The witness identification had been conducted improperly. Marcus's alibi had never been fully investigated. His supervisor's testimony had been presented, but never corroborated with the actual timesheet records. And there was something else. Something that had been sitting in an evidence folder for 4 years. A partial fingerprint lifted from the convenience store counter. It had never been run through the national database. Nobody had ever checked it. Patricia requested a full DNA and fingerprint analysis. The results came back in early 2009. The fingerprint did not belong to Marcus. It belonged to a man named Derek, a repeat offender with a history of armed robbery. Derek had been living freely in Baton Rouge the entire time Marcus was in prison. Patricia filed an emergency motion for exoneration. On March 3, 2009, 7 years after his arrest, Marcus walked out of Angola prison. He stood at those gates and breathed in the air outside. His mother was waiting in the parking lot. She had driven 3 hours that morning. She ran to him the moment she saw him. And Marcus, this man who had held himself together for 7 years, finally broke down. Right there in that parking lot, in his mother's arms. 7 years, gone. His 20s, gone. The plans he had made, the life he had been building, gone. The state of Louisiana issued a formal statement acknowledging the wrongful conviction. Derek was arrested and charged for the original robbery within weeks. Marcus received a settlement. No amount of money could give him back those 7 years. He said that in every interview he gave afterward. They gave me a check. They couldn't give me back my life. Marcus eventually went back to school. He studied criminal justice. He now works with innocence organizations, helping other wrongfully convicted people fight their cases. He turned his pain into purpose, but the scars remain. The sleepless nights, the distrust, the anger that never fully goes away. There are currently over 2,000 known wrongful convictions in the United States. Experts believe the real number is far higher. Black men are statistically more likely to be wrongfully convicted than any other group in America. The system that is supposed to protect everyone does not protect everyone equally. Marcus knew that the night those handcuffs went on. He just never imagined he would spend 7 years proving it. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because Marcus's story is not unique. It is happening right now, in courtrooms across America, to men and women who have no one writing letters for them, no one fighting for them, no one waiting in the parking lot. Subscribe to Dark Chapters US, because there are many more chapters left to uncover, and none of them are easy to read.